I want you to start living your life like a professional poker player. Now, I'm not going to get into the details of what size headphones you should wear or the best sunglasses for indoor conditions. That's Poker 102. For Poker 101, we'll start with mindful decision-making and emotional self-awareness. See, professional poker players don't view the game like your friends who go to the casino twice a year. They view the game as a series of informed decisions based on the information and actions that have taken place up until that point. They study the game through the use of solvers, high-powered computer programs that run millions of simulations based on potential poker hands and give recommendations of what to do in certain spots. Should you bet big or small with a particular hand? If your opponent bets, should you call? Should you raise for more or fold to play another hand? The only goal of the solver is to maximize profitability. It gives its output in terms of expected value, the amount of money you should expect to win or lose over time based on a certain action. The term expected value is pretty common in poker circles, but I want to expand the context and broaden it to think about your life and its expected value. How are the decisions that you're making on a day-to-day basis affecting your expected value in relation to your goals? Like I said, the poker solver is only concerned about making a profit, and that might be a goal of yours as well. But we also have other personal and professional goals to consider. You might want career advancement. So what are you doing for professional development to help you secure that next promotion? You might want to get in shape. So how are your exercise and eating habits in line with your fitness goals? I want you to be mindful of the decisions that you're making on a daily basis that affect your path and your progress toward those long-term goals and your expected value. Now, any poker player worth their salt will tell you that solvers are not the be-all, end-all. Solvers assume that your opponent is playing a perfectly balanced strategy. Humans aren't like that. They just aren't perfectly balanced. And so my next point is that I want you to be mindful of patterns that happen throughout your daily life and when they're broken. So when I tell people that I play poker as a profitable side hobby, one of the questions that I get is, you're probably pretty good at reading people, aren't you? And the answer is, well, kind of. See, poker tells, so to speak, aren't like they show in the movie. It's not Jimmy scratched his nose, so he must be bluffing. It's more so those pattern breaks. If there's a player who for the last 30 hands has made the minimum bet or folded, and all of a sudden they raise big, I'm changing my strategy. I'm folding anything but the absolute best hands. So what does that look like in life? I'll give you an example. Recently, I had a pattern break in my own life as it relates to my personal goals. See, I have a very cute 6-month-old at home. She's adorable. And two of my personal goals are to be a great father to her and to be a great husband to my wife. I thought I was doing a pretty good job. I was changing a lot of diapers, waking up for night feeds, getting on the ground when she decided she wanted to be a roly-poly. It was great. One day my wife came up to me and she said, "Hey, I'm really frustrated because every time the baby gets fussy, you never ask for help." That confused me. It's like, I thought I was doing a good job. I thought, if the baby's fussy, I'm going to problem solve. I'm going to take care of the situation so my wife doesn't have to deal with that. But she continued. She said, when you do that, when you take care of it without consulting me or without including me, it makes me feel less valued as a partner. I want to contribute. And so I was at a decision point. I had to say, okay, what's my next action going to be based on this new information? So I had to decide, all right, what's my personal goal? To be a good father to my baby. I was doing that, but she's a great mother as well. The baby's going to be taken care of very well, regardless of who's doing it. but also the other personal goal to be a great husband to my wife. And so I had to change my actions. Yes, I could still take care of the baby without asking for help, but I shouldn't. I should think critically about my personal goal and how I can amend that to include my wife and make her feel valued as a partner, because that increases my expected value in that partnership. So, mindful decision-making with respect to your long-term goals, right? And taking new inputs of information and adjusting based on that information. Pretty simple, right? What could get in the way? Emotions. In poker, they call it tilt. Players go on tilt for a number of reasons. Could be there's an annoying personality at the table. Could be that someone shows a bluff that got you off the pot. Pretty frustrating, a little embarrassing. Could be that you got your money in good. You had a 90% chance of winning, and one of the few cards made that 10% happen. When players go on tilt, it's pretty obvious. They get frustrated. They start making bad decisions, playing bad cards to try to get back to even. It doesn't usually work. They usually lose the rest of their chip stack, buy in, try to chase their losses. It's not a good situation. What does that look like in our lives? There are things that make us go on tilt in real life. Traffic, an annoying coworker. Apparently Taylor Swift being on football broadcasts puts people on tilt. I don't know. And so what do we do with that? We have to recognize those emotions. We have to be able to say, I am not in a good spot to be able to make a critical decision at this point, right? Being aware, I'm sad, I'm angry, lonely, tired, even hungry. These things can all affect our decision-making process. In poker, being able to walk away from the table is very powerful. Being able to take a break, clear your head, and come back when you're in a better headspace to make good decisions is critical for having a positive expected value. We can't always do that in life. We can't always just take a break and walk away. And so being aware of our emotions, why we're feeling a certain way, and how to process that is also critical. For me, one thing you should know is I really value being right. It's a great trait to have in bar league trivia, not a great trait to have when receiving criticism, right? I get defensive sometimes, I get frustrated, and I have to process, why do I feel this way? After a lot of self-reflection, I've determined that when I get defensive, it's because I feel like I've let people down. The people pleaser in me is hurt when I receive criticism. But by being aware of that and understanding why I'm feeling that emotion, I can process that and say, this person's probably criticizing me not because they want to hurt me, but by enacting their recommendations, that people pleaser in me can do better next time. I wasn't perfect, but I can be better. It's not easy. It's still challenging. I still don't like getting criticized, but I can recognize that it's for it's for a sense of greater self-improvement. I can enact those changes. So for you, I want you to recognize when you're not feeling 100%, when your emotions are driving your decisions. And I want you to think, is my next action in line with the person that I want to be? Is this emotional decision that I might be making going to increase or decrease my expected value as it relates to my goals? So in summary, I want you to make mindful decisions based on your defined life goals. I want you to be aware of the information that's coming in and the feedback that you're receiving and adjust accordingly. And I want you to recognize the emotions that you might be feeling and how they're affecting your decision-making process in a positive or a negative way. Not only is that how you maximize your profits at a poker table, but that's how you can maximize the expected value of your life. Good luck out there.